Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kiersey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. I got an email asking me what I think is the worst thing about trucking and the biggest issue in the industry, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. Stick around. Okay, there's one thing that I really see throughout trucking, and it doesn't matter. It's not just my company. It's all the different companies. It's at the truck stops, at the customers, and it's this weird dynamic between owner ops, lease ops, and company drivers. You know, like every single one of them believes that the choice they made is the right one, and I'm sure it is for them, but there's this weird culture. It's like a subculture where they all want to try to convince the other person that their way is the right way. I don't really know if it's chest thumping, like masculinity, like maybe just a male ego thing, but I've had women do it to me too, so I don't know if that's really what it is. But here's an example. I was at a beer place, a beer distributor, picking up a load recently, and I was parked in front of this guy with this big long-nosed Pete that looked like it was older than me, going clunk, 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 clunk as he came up the driveway. And when he heard that I was delivering something that was only 150 miles away, he said to me, well, how long you been driving for Prime? And I said, well, 4 years. And he goes, well, maybe you'll get yourself a good job one of these days. And I said, well, thank you for your concern. I actually have a great job. And I'll reply in kind. Maybe you'll get yourself a new truck like I have one of these days. One that doesn't go clunk, clunk, clunk and keep you in the shop for 2 and 3 weeks at a time and not have any kind of pay coming in. Because obviously you're an owner op. That means that you have to pay for your hotel and you have to pay for your repairs, and you're, you know, I'm sorry you made that choice. And he got me and he's like, well, they should never have given you a load for 100 miles. I was like, honestly, that's none of your business, but since you're so concerned about it, doing this 100-mile load is getting me an 1,800-mile load after. So I'm perfectly fine with it. Since I get paid by the mile and not the percentage of the load, guess what? I'm going to have a really good week this week. Woohoo! 3,200 miles. Take that. And, you know, he just was trying to convince me that I was a bad company and I'm wrong and I don't know anything. And I don't think it had anything to do with sexism or me being a woman. I just think it was bias against, you know, a mega carrier, and I talked about that before. And I've had the same type of issue with lease ops. You know, every once in a while, a lease op at Prime, we used to have these wheel covers that were performance boosters. They were aerodynamic, and it was supposed to save a percentage on your fuel. So the lease ops would come over to me and say, I can tell you're a company driver because you have those ugly wheel covers. Okay, whatever. I don't care. It's not my truck. You know, I'm not paying for the fuel, so I don't care. And it's not like when I'm driving the truck that I'm outside looking at it, so I don't care what the truck looks like either. I think that's a guy thing. So this one guy sees me hook up to a loaded trailer at a customer, and he's in a door getting unloaded. Or, I'm sorry, he was getting loaded. He was in a door getting loaded, and he had been sitting there in the door for 3 hours. I went inside, got my paperwork, came back out, and, you know, I was hooked up to the trailer, and this lease op comes over to me and says, I know you're a company driver, and you're going to take my load and sit in my door, and I'm going to take that load. And I was like, really? And he says, yeah, well, you know, I've been here at Prime, and, you know, I'm a lease op, so I have a seniority over you. Okay. I said, how long you been working here? He's like, 3 weeks. Okay. So I said to him, okay, well, you go disconnect from your trailer. go inside and tell them that we're going to be switching, because then some of these places make you sign in and out and all that stuff. So I was like, so go inside and tell them we're switching. Call your fleet manager, message your fleet manager, let him know, and I'm going to contact mine. So he goes to disconnect from his trailer, and I pulled away. And I get down the road, and my fleet manager calls me up and says, why do I have a driver on the phone yelling at me that you stole his load? I was like, because he's an idiot. And he's like, what load do you have? I'm like, the load you gave me. What do you mean, what load do I have? The load you gave me. So he was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. The guy's crazy. Okay, I got my load. Bye. There was another time where I was in a truck wash, and the owner of the truck wash was like 10 minutes late. And I was parked first, and the lease op came up behind me and told me, well, I have to get going. So I need you to pull around the back of the building so I can pull forward, and then that way, I'll go first because I need to get rolling. If my wheels aren't turning, I'm not earning. I'm like, that's such a lease thing to say, because there's plenty of times that my wheels aren't turning and I'm still earning. It's called breakdown pay, layover pay, detention pay. I mean, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sick pay, vacation pay. Well, lease ops get detention too, but they don't get vacation, they don't get sick pay, they don't get, well, they do get layover pay, but they don't get breakdown pay. They get $250 breakdown pay, but it has to be over, I think, 48-hour period. They have to be down, something like that. But anyway, that's just crap. And to me, it's like they have this mentality, the lease ops think it's okay to just try to belittle us or push us around. And I don't get it very often, but every once in a while it is annoying. And because I'm me, I give it back to them. So that guy who was complaining that the owner of the washout place came in 10 minutes late and wanted me to leave, let him go, after he insulted me and ridiculed me and everything else, I turned around and I gave the guy at the washout $20, and I told him, I need you to deodorize the inside of this trailer and make it really, really extra clean, okay? And I tipped him $20. That was not, that was my own money. And I did it right in front of that other guy just to tick him off, because I wanted him to wait. Now that he was a jerk, no. If he would have asked me nicely, I would have said okay, but he wasn't. He was mean and nasty, so I'm going to give it back to him. Screw him. But the lease ops don't have the same mentality as the company drivers. They have this go, 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 go. And I think company drivers are more laid back. An example is when it comes to washouts. Prime pays for the washout, but I met this woman at a customer, and she came over to me asking me what I was doing, because I went and washed out the trailer, but I set it to dry out. So it will remove all the moisture. There's a setting. So I didn't want to go in and check in until my reefer had kind of dried itself out a little bit. It was going to be a frozen load, but I had meat blood in it before, so I didn't want to freeze it and then it'd be all covered in ice and they get hurt. I'm sorry, I'm courteous to other people. So she comes over and is like, oh, I don't wash mine out like that. I can't believe you're waiting. When I get into a customer, the first thing I do is go and check in. Well, good. You go check in and leave me alone. Okay? You go worry about you. And she's like, well, did you stay here overnight? Did you start your clock? None of your business. Go check in. And then I get in, after I'm dried out, and then she's back in there again, and she's saying to me, well, I can't believe you bother going to get a washout. I take 6 gallons of water and a gallon of bleach, and I take my brush and I go scrub that out myself, and then I'm good to go. Okay. So you're paying at least $6 for the water. You gotta be paying another $3 to $4 for the bleach. So now you're up to $10 to clean out a trailer that Prime would pay for free. it wouldn't charge you anything. Okay? So, and then you're carrying 7 gallons of fluid back and forth and back and forth. You get in the back of the trailer to sweep it out where you could get damaged and hurt, and you don't have any workman's comp or health insurance. That is just so freaking smart to me. I don't know. And it's like all because they don't want to drive to a truck stop. They don't want to drive to a washout because they think that the washout is wasting fuel money, and they think that waiting there to get washed out, whether it's 10 minutes or it's an hour, they think that's wasting their time that they could be on the road. But somehow, to me, in my head, I'd rather get washed out by a professional company that I'm not paying anything out of pocket, and I know that when I take the trailer to the next customer, they're not going to reject it, because customers can reject the trailer for not being clean enough. Some of them do that. There are some, like General Mills and Nestle can be really picky about the trailers. There's one, I don't remember if it was Kellogg's or General Mills. The guy had a roller staircase and got in the back of the trailer with a flashlight looking for blood and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, you could be a lease op and go through all that and wash it out and everything, and then get to some place and then they reject the trailer and you have to go back and get it washed out anyway. I mean, to me, it's like they're cutting corners and to save time and money, but some of it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I had a trainer who owned her truck, and something that I thought was part of trucking was that she would sit and wait for loads for 6, 7, 8 hours. And I never do that. I've said that several times, and that's the truth. I have pre-plans. I don't sit. So I didn't understand that. I thought it was just normal. And if we were at a customer, even if they didn't have a restroom, she'd be parked at that place. You know, and I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. I need a bathroom. We've been here for 6 or 7 hours. I would have liked to have sat down, had some dinner, taken a shower. But I really want a bathroom. And, you know, something that bothered me about that was that it was a male to female transgender, that when it was convenient, you know, it was go to the bathroom on the side of the road like a man. And I told her, no, you want to be a woman? Guess what? You hold on to the dolly handle and you lean back and you squat, or you get underneath that trailer and squat, because if you're not going to pay for the fuel, you know, to have us go to the bathroom properly, then that's what you better be doing. You better be a woman. But one time I got so aggravated, I threw $20 at her and said, here, I need a bathroom now. And, you know, but that's the mentality of saving fuel and saving costs. And as company drivers, we don't have that. So owner ops laugh at lease ops saying, oh, you're not even going to own your truck by the time, you know, you pay off the lease. And then lease ops look at company drivers and say, oh, well, you could be making so much revenue, you know, I make more than you. And then company drivers are laughing at both of them saying, look at how much you pay for those stinking trucks, and you don't have fuel, you don't have health insurance or retirement or disability or 401k or anything. And you're not really making that much more than me, so what's the big deal? You know, fueling the reefer too. I know lease ops that will go and turn off the reefer. And then they'll, you know, dispatch gets messages saying the reefer's been turned off, and they'll type back, no, everything's fine. I just checked it. No, there's something wrong with the sensor. No, it's just to conserve on fuel costs. You know, they don't fill the tanks. They'll fill only if they have to. And if they drop a trailer, a lot of these customers require you to have at least 3/4 of a tank of reefer fuel. And some of these lease ops, they know which customers check that and which ones don't. So they're not going to pay the extra money for their reefer fuel. You know, I know somebody who illegally, I'm pretty sure the reefer and the tractor fuel taxes are different. I'm really, really kind of, you know, suspect that. If I'm wrong, somebody comment below and tell me about that. But I know a lease op He wasn't at my company, he was someplace else, so don't blame this one on that. But, you know, he punched it in as reefer fuel, but he put it in his tractor. And I'm pretty sure that was about taxes. You know, I'm pretty sure the reefer fuel itself probably costs the same, but the taxes are probably different. So, you know, these are some of the shortcuts they take. And they're doing it because they feel stressed to have to do it. You know, you're not moving the truck an extra 5 miles to be someplace that's comfortable because you don't want to waste the fuel. You know, that to me is insane. We get 8.5 miles per gallon. So we're not even talking about using a whole gallon of fuel. Like a gallon of fuel could be $3 someplace or $4. But I mean, if you're to me, hell yeah, I'd pay $20 to be able to be someplace comfortable. And when I was really new and I was backing up and it was obvious I was backing up, there were people from other companies that made fun of me being from Prime and be like, oh, Prime's backing into the door, everybody run around, you know. And then the one guy came over to me and he's like, well, you know, that's a nice truck and everything, but you're getting screwed on your lease. He was an owner-op, and I was like, I'm not leasing. And he's like, what do you mean? This is a full size. I'm like, yeah, I'm a company driver, I'm not leasing. And he couldn't believe it. So that's what I don't like about the trucking industry right now. There's other things, I'll make other videos, but thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and all that good stuff. And I hope to see you out here trucking along. Ring the little notification bell so you get my next video. And bye-bye.